Welcome to the Trash Cats Trash Cast. I'm Richard.
I'm Steven.
And today we're going to see what happens. If it happens. When it happens.
It's one of those days, man.
Why it happens?
I don't know why it happens. I don't know why anything happens.
Well, why?
Yeah, that is tonight. Tonight is why. Why are we podcasting? Why are we doing this? Why is everything? But first, how was your week?
Week's been good.
Spice it up.
It feels like we've gone to the 2-week route, and you would think it makes sense to start asking, how was the last 2 weeks? But also, we've recorded every week.
Bro, we're in some
for
weird
like the
waters.
last month.
Yeah, it's just getting weird. All right,
big things happening. Big things. No, I'm good. Life in the big fucking city. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm gonna throw honorables.
Whoa, honorables
quickly, and then we can get right into.
Have we had honorables in a little while? I feel like it's been a minute.
I'm literally just gonna say their names. One of the first movies I've been excited about in a little while, Divinity. Excellent artsy art house movie. Very dark, aesthetically beautiful, kind of strange plot, but really good. It's one of the first things I've been kind of excited about in a little while. From like a not just like good movie sense, but a interesting film. Very good. Highly recommend. And then also for just an actual good movie, The Creator. It's very good. Sci-fi, which isn't normally my thing, but really good writing and aesthetically beautiful as well. But I want to get into some random shit today. You ready?
Yeah. Fucking strap me in and shoot me up, man. What are we looking at?
All right. I've been thinking about peace.
Oh shit! That's
okay. There's a lot
of counterintuitive.
Well, not yet. You'll see where I'm going to take it. I'm feeling contentious, man. I'm like a caged little bird. I'm ready to fly free, all right?
Kind of that accelerationist piece. Like, once everything's dead, then we're finally at peace.
Absolutely. So, a lot of unpeaceful things happening in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And typically, the line is like, hey, despite all the chaos, you should meditate, you should center yourself, you should find a peaceful place inside of this unpeaceful world, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm familiar.
And I think most of my life, I felt so chaotic. There was a lot of merit in like calming things, finding more inner peace. But more and more, I've become completely turned away from inner peace. I hate the idea of it now. Can't stand
it. You thrive in the turmoil?
Well, I think
inner turmoil?
I get the idea of like the world's fucked up, so you have to have some level of calmness inside of yourself, or else
you'll kind of reprieve.
Yeah, or else you become chaotic too. But I think more and more, I hate the idea of being at peace with a world I don't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think being able to turn off from an existence you find uncompelling or unconvincing. Why would I want to be at peace with that? I feel like I'm supposed to be geared against it.
Yeah, but let me throw this angle your way.
Okay.
Because I feel like the reason that you reflect and try to find inner peace is to find peace within yourself. For you, peace with you, not with the rest of the world. You find peace with you so that you can be ready to, you can solidify yourself in being against the world.
I don't disagree, and I think like as a general advice or a general like personal philosophy, it's probably good. It's probably like a healthy alternative or a healthy way to navigate your world. Like whenever everything's all wild around you, to be like, I can walk my straight line, and despite things thrown in my way, I can shape form around shit and be like water. But I don't want to accept anything. I don't accept shit. I'm not grateful for shit. I don't want to like this world. And
I don't want to accept anything.
I refuse. If God looks me in the eye tomorrow, I'm going to tell him to go fuck himself, and I'll go straight to hell. I don't give a fuck. Fuck this place. And why should I care?
Took you long enough.
Yeah. And what? Here's the thing. And this is what I feel like I'm yelling right now.
Yeah. You're passionate.
Why would we ever want to be at peace with this place? And the idea of like doing it for ourselves, this is the part I don't like, because I know how it sounds. But why the fuck should I care about how I feel about that? Like if I don't care.
Because it's the only thing that you can control actively.
Yeah, but if I don't care how other people feel, like if the idea is like, hey, shit's crazy, so just do it for yourself. Like be selfish in that way. Don't worry about the chaos in other people. Just worry about the calmness in yourself. So I don't give a fuck how all these other people feel. And that's like totally normal, acceptable, only should care about my internal feelings. And my point is, I don't give a fuck about either. Like, why the fuck should I care about how anyone else feels? And why should I care that much about how I feel? Just because, like, I feel good doesn't change the fact of what my perception is of the people, of the world, of myself. I would rather be at odds than be at a delusional sense of peace.
Do you think that being at odds with everything brings you peace? Would you say that?
No.
Making this decision that this is how you feel, does that bring you any sort of solace? Maybe
to some extent. Like I like the idea.
Then you've done it. Congratulations, Steven. You are now Zen.
Honestly, I feel like I do Zen okay for being
against it.
Yeah, well, I want some degree of inner calmness, right? But I also am content to just fight forever too. Like if I don't like how existence is, I'm okay struggling against that forever. If I don't
that sounds exhausting. I don't like it.
Honestly, that pisses me off here. Bro, how?
Let me give you this. Let me give you this real quick.
Okay.
When you hear the term minding your own business, what does that entail to you? I think most people would say that it's not worrying about other people's business. Like what other people are doing, what other people think.
Fuck that. Everything's my business. Bro, I got the biggest suitcase. I can fit everyone's business papers.
The biggest business.
Yeah.
I think the bigger part of that people don't think of is minding your business means literally when you mind your business, when you are minding something, you are giving it attention. Right? So from the philosophical point of view of just fucking mind your own fucking business, don't be snitching, don't be doing all this, shit that's gonna get you. How's the way I'm trying to say it? You don't want to be the shitty neighbor on the block. That's worried about how long people's grass is and dumb shit like that.
Yeah, like my neighbor today was fucking burning tires all day. So disgusting. Bro,
and what did you do about it?
Nothing.
Exactly. You minded your own fucking business. But what that also means, though, what that needs to mean is you are aware of what your business is.
Yeah, but I also feel fully in my right to have changed that circumstance too. Like if I as a general life thing, I don't like confronting stuff that much. I'm more of like the fuck off. I can fade into obscurity. I can leave. Mm-hmm. Like fuck this place. I'm going where I want or whatever. But it's fully within my right to do something about things I don't like, or to at least be in resistance to those things. And I feel like I feel like it's really easy to just do the sedation route of like, this stuff sucks, so I'm just gonna fucking meditate 8 hours a day or watch TV 8 hours a day or like whatever the fuck. And
I think your form of meditation, your meditation just comes in the form of sitting in rage, sitting and stewing in anger.
I don't know. I'm
grinding your fucking teeth like Ron DeSantis and just.
No, it's more like I don't like to stay like actively enraged all the time either. But it bothers me that other people aren't bothered more. Where like I don't feel like you have to be like in combat at all times, but I feel like anytime there's something wrong in the world, you're like supposed to do something or like at least voice the opinion.
Now, this is something that I've learned about you.
Oh no!
Over time.
Okay.
Just specifically through doing the podcast, hearing the critical, thought out explanation of your points. You, for someone who really doesn't seem to care about the opinions and effects of other people, you really seem to care about the opinions and effects of other people.
Yeah.
That sounds very stressful.
I don't feel like it's in my conversation with Pine Creek, who I'm now like completely turned off of and very bummed out about it. I like can't listen to him do his content anymore. It's really frustrating. But so here's where I'm kind of at with those things. There was a point where he asked me like, why the fuck do you care if Republicans say this or believe that or whatever? And it's the same thing of like, why do you care if someone thinks this dumb thing you disagree with or whatever? And it's not that I care the person it's coming from or there's just like right and wrong or like truth or not truth. And I feel like
there's bad opinions, there's wrong opinions.
Yeah, and it
if you take a falsehood and state it, but you state it you frame it as an opinion, it's still a falsehood.
And I feel weird saying like there is a right and wrong because I don't really believe in ethics anymore.
There is truth and truth.
There's
and
truth
falsehood.
and untruth.
Yeah,
I think that's where I'm leaning more and more. So it's like, yo, I don't care if my neighbor is a fucking Nazi, right?
Right.
And a Nazi on one side, a pedophile on the other. I don't care. Like that doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
But I want to be at odds with that. I want to hate that. Like I don't want to be fucking doing chores at work, grinding my teeth all day, but I want to hate that there's a world where my neighbor does that thing. Like I want to be at odds with that. And it's not that I care that they hate this or they assault that. God, that was a fun sentence.
I mean, I could be wrong because I'm not a what's the word? A meditating type of person. I did have a Zen moment earlier this week when we were building out our new, like, a prep facility warehouse situation. And my boss was testing out a speaker, and as a goof, he put on some Enya, and then he walked away. He set the speaker up on a shelf and then walked away, and then he ended up getting stuck in a conversation with a contractor. And I couldn't reach the speaker without a ladder that I didn't have, and so now I'm just cleaning, like scrubbing these walls down to, like doing hard physical labor, listening to very chill, soft, melodic music. And there was a part of me that was like, oh, this is actually a very zen and very calming, but also I need to put on something with more energy to it, and it pissed me off. But I felt that for just a second. But the point I want to get to here. So I don't know that when they tell you, when people are telling people like, oh, take a break, take some time to meditate, do a, look inward kind of thing. I don't think what they're trying to do, what they're trying to say is you shouldn't be upset with, you shouldn't be against your Nazi neighbor. You shouldn't think that person's an asshole. I don't think anyone's saying that.
I agree. And I actually meditate. Like I like meditation. I think it's like actually a really good thing.
Then what are we even talking about?
My point is the passivity.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like our culture more and more has leaned into the being passive. It's not that you shouldn't meditate or look inward. Jesus Christ, can't fucking talk. Shouldn't consider those things and like take a step away or take a step into yourself, but it's the passiveness that bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it doesn't bother other people as much, and that's really frustrating to me.
Because I said it kind of as a joke, but I do think that there's a part of you that finds calm within rage. That finds that resolution within rage that most people need to put it aside and be passive about. Yeah.
Scared. Oh no, my feelings are overwhelming. I'm so overwhelmed. I need a break.
I think to most people, rage is something that consumes a lot of energy. Anger is the strong emotional reaction that consumes a lot of energy. I think you just thrive in it a little better than...
Bro, my dream world is just chopping up the bodies of my enemies all day. That's just the world I want to live. Just me and my knife.
Yeah, spoken like a true serial killer.
Just chopping it up, Just chilling.
Tucking at the water cooler with Bob, chopping it up.
Speaking of which, did you see that Tucker Carlson interview with Putin?
No, I didn't actually watch it.
It's hilarious.
I've seen some clips of it, but I watched him at the grocery store though.
Oh man, yeah, and then that little spineless jellyfish, Lex Friedman, interviewed Tucker. That was even worse.
I don't even know who that is.
Yes, you do. He's that little nerd man that spawned out of Joe Rogan. Like a little mini clone. Yeah. Oh, terrible people.
Yeah, okay, I do know who that
terrible and popular people. All right, you got anything about anger? Because I'm just annoyed with everyone. And I do get energy from anger.
No, I feel like when we start talking about meditation and, being, introspective, we say inward too much.
Inward?
Yeah.
Jesus. All right.
Get ourselves in trouble.
All right. Next thought. Animals have weird eyes. Okay? I've been thinking about animal eyes all week.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Cats. Beautiful
Weird.
eyes.
Yep.
Very weird. Eagles.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Even stranger. Look, Google eagle eye. Google eagle eye. They have these membranes that are it's like a double eyelid. But they're
like a camel?
They're membranes that wipe across their eyes, like from different sides.
Nictitating membrane.
A nictitating membrane.
What a callback.
So good. The nictitating membrane is a transparent or translucent third eyelid present in some animals that can be drawn across the eye from the medial canthus, probably saying that wrong, to protect and moisten it. So these often big birds, and I think sharks and a lot of reptiles have them, but it's like a extra skin membrane that wipes across the eye to clear their vision or protect it. And a lot of birds have it, so when they're diving and stuff, they can clear their vision. But when it fully ellipses over the eye, it's like this layer of thin skin that makes their eyes just look like fucking demons.
It's pretty fucking cool.
So cool.
I've been thinking, it's really actually kind of funny. I've been thinking about toad eyes lately.
Okay.
Not lately, but recently I thought about toad eyes.
And they're...
Nictitating membrane.
They are... Thank you.
Yeah, God.
Thanks, Linda. We appreciate it. They have very cool... They have the vertical... the horizontal pupil situation.
Yeah.
That is very like a goat do.
Yeah.
They are very I think that's one of the weirder ones you see like just from like the front, but apparently like frogs and toads have the best night vision of any animal. They can see color when it's like too dark for you to see like anything at all in front of you, like, your hand, held out in front of your face. You can't see it. Like they can see color still. And I think that's pretty dope.
Yeah, because if they hop, they need to know where to land.
Yeah. Well, that's the other one. You'd think, obviously like those eyes are like for sensing like prey and predators and shit. But you'd think with an animal that is mostly known for jumping up and down, that they would have more of maybe have a better, low, I don't know, see where they're landing. I guess they have to have their head tilted all the way to see that. I don't know. But I think they're cool.
Yeah, anytime someone talks about God's intelligent design, just ask them about giraffe necks. Their stupid heart's not strong enough to pump as much blood as they need all the way up that long trunk.
I mean, they're tough though, it's just slam the necks into each other and shit.
Bro, it's like you took a horse in Photoshop and just stretched it out wrong.
Yeah, just stretch it on out. Use that
forgot to
stamp
lock
tool
the
to cover up the
ratio.
little, yeah.
All right, so I heard someone talking, some dumb podcast or something, like the lens of optimism, right? That
was a good transition from eyes.
I'm not even done yet. Okay.
Oh, you're not done with eyes yet?
I'm building, bro. This motherfucker lived his life in despair, and then he found God, got sober, right? The lens of optimism, the scales fell from his eyes, and he could see everything differently. All of a sudden, all the new opportunities he just couldn't see before because his stupid eyes couldn't handle it, right? So... Yeah. I was having this thought, and I do like the idea of brain state changes can see things that were there, but we just couldn't see them, right?
Right.
Then I was thinking about these, I gotta get it. These bird eyes, these, god damn it, nictitating Nictitating membranes, yes. I was thinking about these nictitating membranes.
Thanks, Linda.
I like the idea. This is just abstract, but this is the part of the podcast where I say really dumb shit, and I hope it sparks something. Imagine we have 2 eyelids, okay?
I like that we're just leaving. They're just opening that up. That's like, we haven't been doing that this entire time. Go ahead.
It just started just now.
Never before in another episode. This is just...
All right, imagine we have no eyelids, okay?
Okay.
Our eyes are just bugging out, but we have 2 of these nictitating... What was it?
Nictitating membrane.
2 of these nictitating membranes, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
As they cross over the eyes, let's say the top one is the blue lens. And as it ellipses back and forth over your eyes, you can see everything in a purely positive point of view. So you're looking out your window, that membrane swishes across your eyes, and you see all the things you could be doing out there. You see a $20 bill on the sidewalk some motherfucker dropped. You see a whole different life in front of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then your bottom nictitating membrane is the red lens. And this is the pure pessimism and hatred. You look out your window and you see all the lies the world has told you. You see
them. They're just laying there on the street.
You see... Now...
Somebody dropped their lies on the street. You see the $20 bill that they dropped. It wasn't. It says motion pictures only on it. It was a lie.
You look at your mailbox and you see all the mail that was stolen from it. Every day they're taking my mail. All right.
Oh, God damn.
You got these 2 ways
yeah.
of seeing the world, these two different lenses.
And they just kind of swish back and forth.
Swish back and forth. But the ideal version is, like, the ideal zone of vision in my mind, would be where they cross over.
Okay.
Like, they're on opposite side of your eyes. They both ellipse to the other side. But where they cross over is probably the most true version of reality, where it's not too extreme on one another. It's where those two things meet or overlap.
The habitable zone.
Yeah, where they make purple together.
Yeah, where
the purple
where you're not so angry at the world that you want to murder, but also, you know, it's not you're not blinded by
foolish.
Yeah. The wonders of the world.
Yeah, the right amount of optimism.
Optimism.
My tisms. Optimal. Balanced with the right amount of, I don't know, skepticism, scrutiny.
Yeah.
And I think it's really easy for for people to, myself included, to favor one lens or another too much and not looking in the purple zone.
So what you're saying is especially when people use the analogy of, you know, using wearing rose-colored glasses, you know, you're saying instead get purple ones.
Yeah. Don't take the red pill or the blue pill. Take them both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have two examples of this that came to mind. The first is conspiracy theories.
Okay.
So if you're it's not the exact equivalent of positive or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're the type of person who looks at my initial theory is that the amount of conspiracy theories you believe in says a lot about you. Mm-hmm. So if you're the type of person who believes in all of them, like you can buy in to any crazy bullshit you read on the internet, that's problem zone.
Yeah,
right?
That's
like
bad.
the optimism of like, oh, this is all true kind of thing.
Yeah.
Versus the ultimate skepticism of like, no, this is all bullshit. It can't be real. There's
also, yeah.
Yeah, there's
Also
no
problems.
reason to suspend any disbelief or to make little jumps or whatever the fuck it is. So I've been trying to look at people lately and gauge how many conspiracy theories I think they believe.
That's a good game.
It is, because
if you have to take public transportation, that's the way to do it.
just judging everyone on the bus and trying to figure out what theories they believe in. But so anything over 5, you're, I think, in a bad zone.
Does it depend on what the 5 are?
Absolutely. Certainly does. And if
I
you're
feel like
under
there's wiggle
1,
room with that hard number.
and if you're, yes. And if you're under 1, or like you're at none, I also see that as problematic.
Yeah.
But I think the purple zone is 1 to 3. And anything out of those ranges, it's not a definite rule.
Yeah,
but
there are. I'm sure there's some scrutiny to be held on that, depending on circumstances. But
yeah, but as a a guideline, I think 1 to 3 is like safe zone, probably a reasonable person. Anything outside of that on either end gets increasingly unreasonable. So when you're looking at the strangers on the bus, the typical like creative, they at least believe they're like free thinking, individual type person, they got aliens right off the bat, right? How many non-creative people are like, I don't believe in aliens? So aliens is like the gimme.
yeah,
And they typically, their justification on that is what matters the most. Their reason for believing in it matters a lot. Like it once you're like, oh, aliens,
I was gonna say
that's reasonable, but why?
Yeah, there's a huge difference in believing that there's life somewhere outside our solar system or our planet or whatever. And
I saw pyramids on Mars that only could be built by the Greys. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe all these exactly the same stories that people are telling from out of, the New Mexico because they got a minute of fame on a talk show or something.
Yeah. So the justification matters just as much as the theory.
Yeah.
So typically aliens, I feel like that can be in the purple zone. That's your 1. And then you're like, your 2, your 3 are often going to be government stuff like MK Ultra, like just things that get put into conspiracy boxes.
Some Bush did 9/11 shit.
I think 9/11 at all is out of purple zone.
That's out of purple zone. Okay, that's fair.
Unless your whole justification is like,
think of another government
conspiracy. MK Ultra.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that
and
wasn't
then the
really
syphilis
a conspiracy
experiment.
theory, though, right? Right.
No,
that actually happened.
It actually happened, but it's still widely looked at as conspiracy-ish. Widely looked at.
That's crazy, considering it's like
how much evidence
that it happened. Yeah.
How many declassified documents? So that gets into purple zone. The other 2 I can slide on a little bit are 9/11 only in the sense like, hey, there was some evidence that the intelligence agencies could have foresaw this and didn't act as vigilantly as they could have. If that's like the limit,
that's the extent of it, yeah.
Then I can be like, okay, that's not completely unreasonable. But anything more than that gets farther and farther away from like logic. And then Kennedy stuff, like any other like government abuses of power and those type of things.
Yeah.
In my mind, are conspiracies, even if they're looked at that way. Like people,
Pizzagate didn't make the list.
That is out of the purple zone. We are on the fringes of maintaining.
They're trying to take away all your gas stove. They're going to come door to door and take away your gas stove.
You're never going to eat meat. You're going to be eating crickets due to the World Economic Forum, and it's so fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, they're going to mandate that you can't have more than one hamburger a month.
You're going to own nothing and be happy.
It's so fucking crazy.
So stupid. Yeah, so I've been thinking about that, right? Our nictitating lenses, the balance in perception. What is with conspiracies? I feel like you can judge a lot about a person. You have your purple range. Anything outside of that, untrustworthy person. When they fall out of the range, it's not that they're good or bad. It's that you can't trust their judgment. Like there's people I love that are still religious or whatever, and I still love them, but I can't ever fully trust their judgment if they believe in sorcery or magic.
Yeah.
It's like I can trust you up to a point, even if that point's very far, because there's very few things in life that are ever going to get close to magic. But if these people think it's possible, it changes how much I can trust their judgment on things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then here's my other example that this is just kind of goofy. I don't know how much it actually applies. I've decided going to jail, going to prison,
okay,
actually, as counterintuitive as it may seem, makes you less cool. Now hear me out. Before you go to prison, you're doing crimes, you're having fun, you're never going to get caught, right? You got full optimist lens. You're good to go. You don't give a fuck about prison. I'm never going to go there. Even if I do, the felony makes me cool, right?
I'd like to see these fucking pigs take me away.
Yeah, just try to catch me. I'll never go back. Never.
Never go back. That implies they've been there before.
That's true. And we're going to address that type here in a sec. So it's a form of optimism before, and then you go to prison. Mm-hmm. You get out. Now you're a lot less cool because the lens has shifted. You know what the loss of freedom is like, and now you do truly never want to go back. There's very few people who come out and they're as carefree, go lucky as they were before they went in. So you lose your cool. Not that you might...
No, you're spitting facts over here.
Bro, I thought this out.
Just picture you in the shower, just taking a shit one day, and you're like, it's really not cool going to jail. It's not the people that aren't cool, people that go to jail.
I'm writing notes
Those people aren't
in a
cool.
notebook in the shower, just drenched.
with fucking hair on the walls. You're just putting...
The notebook's completely soggy, like pages falling apart.
People in jail equal not cool. Just underline.
Well, it's one of those things. Once your perception changes, you can't roll it back. Like, once your idea of freedom changes, once your idea of, consequence of what those drugs felt like, whatever the fuck it is, you can't roll it back. Like, after your perception of what freedom is like after is different. And even if you, go back to the same mentality or actions or whatever, it doesn't feel the same. Everything changes.
Yeah, no, I can't even... I think you're right. I can't find an argument on that.
Because then when people come out, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to go back there." That place was not cool.
I'm not doing crime anymore.
It's not. Or even if they do crime, they don't. They do crime. Not the do crime. They're doing do crimes, and they don't want to go back. They're gonna do it. They move different, or they just know what's at risk. I don't know. Things change. They can't do what they were doing as carefree or enjoy it the same way.
Now, could you make the argument? Could you concede the argument that by having gone to prison for a crime before, that now if you continue to do crimes, you are more cool in the sense that you are calculated. You are cool and calculated about.
I can and gladly will make that argument. I can make any argument we want.
Yeah, you can. Argue for shit you absolutely don't believe in.
Absolutely not. Dude, I really want... I know it's like so masturbatory, but I really would like to argue viewpoints I don't believe a lot more, because it is like very challenging and, I don't know, mind-bendy, expansive.
It feels... It having tried that only a couple times with you before, it feels... It's too disingenuous to a comedic effect.
Not if you believe it.
Yeah, I can't make myself believe it. That's the hard part.
That's the easy part.
I don't agree with that.
Let's role play.
No, I'd rather not. Let's move on.
I think. Now imagine you're at the tail end of the Third Reich.
Okay.
And you're in the International Criminal Court of Justice, and you have to argue why you are doing good work and should not go to prison. And go.
Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
Come on, you just gotta believe.
Yeah, no, I'm not adding. I'm not going to give you things to put in a blackmail folder,
Bro.
No, thank you.
The folder is such a good folder.
Oh, God damn it. That is, I mean, I feel like it is a fair amount of payment for, it's more than fair amount of payment for you doing all of the editing work. That you have blackmail.
I've sustained this podcast by
you can
making Ricky do it through blackmail.
You can take anything I said out of context and make it awful.
It's a fun thing to be able to do.
Like I often don't find myself saying edgy or
you're good.
I'm quite careful. Not that I say I have to be careful, but like I'm aware that I'm being recorded. So making, jokes out of joke's sake, can get, harder, but it's,
we can.
I know that there are things in that folder that are probably pretty rough.
They're encrypted. They'll never
like the time that you asked me. The time that you asked me at the very end of an episode if you had to kill the most amount of people in the shortest amount of time, would you do it or something like that? And it was just like
and sending this straight to the FBI.
I took a pause, just a beat. Oh, goddamn. I forget if you might have left it in and just bleeped it. But
yeah, I don't I just remembered what you were talking about.
And then you were like, all right, that's all for us today. Like, fuck you. Oh, fucking A.
So I had this thought recently. Mm-hmm. I was looking back at old episodes. I was like, wow, this is really embarrassing, and there's no benefit to this existing on the internet. I was like, wow, what a fucking idiot. Who would keep this online? And then, then I have this secondary thought, like, there is zero risk. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, what's the worst say, like, a really edgy joke, like, there's no way anything would actually affect us. At worst case scenario, like a slander thing or like a legal, like if I could get a legal freedom of speech case, oh my God.
That'd be so good for the podcast.
I'd love it.
Great for the show.
Dude, oh my God. That'd be so great. That'd be the best content arc. No, but there is a thing with
it says here you announced war on Khan. Who is that? What does he do?
God, that'd be great, because then he'd have to be a witness.
He'd have to be there. Oh, fucking hell.
But there is a thing, like, not that, like, making like spicy jokes all the time, especially when you overstep a line. I'm sure, at least I have, or whatever. But like, you have to take risks in conversation too.
Yeah.
Or like, it's good to be measured, and it's good to have one person that's probably more that way than having no one who can reel it in, type of thing. But
yeah,
there's value in taking risks in conversation too.
I feel like it's different also how you choose to take those risks of, like, I know in the setting that I'm in, talking to you and being listened to by the type of people that would listen to anything that we've done.
Yeah. And the ability to edit.
There's that, but I mean, like, I don't say anything without considering that it's just going to be left in. I'll announce before I say something if I say this is too personal or whatever, that you have to take it out. But I feel confident that it's you know, your environment, the people around you, that you can, you know, say those things and when it's understood, when you know that the people that are around you recognize that it's in irony, or it is, as, you know, a darker joke, but it is not meant to be taken as a, like, let's all go around and talk about our opinions on it.
Well, here's the thing is, like, if you're not saying that something that can get you in legal trouble, which we have pretty good, not as good as it should be, but we have pretty good freedom of speech. Outside of that, I don't give a fuck. I just don't give a fuck if anyone thinks I should or shouldn't say something. Whatever. Like, the only thing that is kind of shitty with the vibe today is like, you say X, we try to take away your job. Or even more, because sometimes I think that can make sense. Not all the time, but sometimes. But even more, I don't see how most jobs, not all jobs, but I don't see it as appropriate for most jobs to fire people for a private opinion or statement or joke that someone made outside of work. Like, if your job is a public-facing thing, of course what you say matters, but if you're just fucking clocking in at a place, like, I don't see it as appropriate, even if you were an XYZ-ist or whatever. Like, I don't see it as appropriate to get fired for something you say outside of work at most jobs.
I think, it depends. I think that's a blanket statement, because there's so many variables within that. Where I think the main problem that it would cause is if someone says something that makes someone else there, makes enough other people there uncomfortable.
Fuck them.
Well, yeah, but if they all have an issue with it and they're like, if you don't do something about this guy, then I'm going to go somewhere else. And the company says, well, we don't want to lose all of you, so we'll just get rid of him.
The company needs to grow a backbone and tell them to get in line. We don't break our fucking business
get back
ethics.
To work and
they whip you and send you back and say, fuck you. They didn't break a rule. Get back to work.
And also, that was an unpaid break that you were in here talking to me in my office.
And you owe us $5.
Yeah, we're deducting $5 from your pay today.
I do believe that. Like, just even if you offended a bunch of other employees, if you weren't breaking your company's rule, then you tell those employees to kick rocks. Their job's safe unless they did, like.
I think
why
most
the fuck am I
do have rules though that are
these
literally
ethics
to say that. I think it's actually a
morality clause,
a federal rule of, like, working in an unsafe work environment. If you don't feel safe working with somebody who has said some heinous shit,
then they can leave.
Then they can leave. But they can
should
also,
leave.
when they file a grievance with, when they ask like, well, why are you leaving? And you say, oh, it's because,
Marty called Sally. Yeah.
Marty came in wearing his full 1940, his Third Reich era German military uniform. And I don't feel comfortable working next to Marty, working across the hall from Marty right now.
That is fine. But if Marty likes to wear that costume outside of work, I don't feel like Marty should be fired for that. He might be an asshole, but why the fuck here's the part I don't like. We're ceding so much control to these jobs now where they get to control our life outside of work.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of hey, come in early for an unpaid meeting. Like, go fuck yourself.
Here's where I would argue that it's still a general thing because, the type of person that is willing to that does those kind of things in their off time
doesn't deserve to have a job.
No, I'm saying it doesn't mean that they're cool and calm and collected and
we don't know that.
We don't know that. That's what I'm saying is like there are within that saying that just because they do this outside of work, doesn't mean they should lose their job. Okay. But like, that's not like when it comes in, when other people are like, hey, like, yeah, he said this and this to me today. And like now knowing that he also wears a Nazi uniform when he's just chilling around the house and walking his dog.
It's different if they said something to another employee, but something if they're completely outside of work.
If it's just something they did outside of work,
like this happened with the Charlottesville riots. Like all those fucking losers, by the way, absolutely loser scumbag pieces of shit. All the people carrying tiki torches.
Yeah.
Right? All those motherfuckers got doxxed. Every fucking one of their faces was found back. And I think that's great too. But I don't think like if your employer, I don't think most jobs should be able to fire you for that.
I mean, if you're looking at it from the private corporation point of view, they can say, hey, you are representing values that we don't want people to say, oh, hey, that's, fucking Marty. He works over at, so-and-so.
I disagree. You're representing the company.
Private company, they are willing to do it's not, but they're indirectly representing the company when it comes to a social thing like that, where everyone's like, oh yeah, this is this guy. He works over here. And then they have to say something about it.
I'm going to preface, neither of us are making legal arguments. This is just like, yeah.
Yeah.
My opinion is you represent the company when you're at work or when you're wearing the uniform. I don't think we're forced just because we work at a place to be fucking branded as a little fucking class representative on I represent the fridge factory down the street 24 hours a day the rest of my life because I work there 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week or whatever. I don't feel like we should cede that much control to them because we see how companies can easily overstep on those things. Why am I a representative of a job if I'm not there? I don't.
Let me put it. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are. You decide. We decide. Okay, we're gonna monetize the podcast, and we start making a bunch of money somehow, and it becomes necessary to hire an assistant or an editor or something like that.
Yeah,
we hire someone. And then every week,
is it Marty?
Every week we pay them $70, and they take that $70 and they tell us, they're like, "Oh yeah, I have a side hustle. It's it's just mostly more of a hobby thing. I like to write. I take all the money you give me, and I'm trying to think of an example of something you could do with money.
Good luck finding something I will hate enough to fire them.
Something. Okay, I take all this money, and then I use it to buy the ammo for the people that I
race war.
no, for the people that I murder on the weekends.
I'd say, great. You know what? Are you good at your job? And they say, yes, I'm great at my job.
And you realize, okay, by giving him money, you are funding him to do
excellent. Excellent. You know why? Because I don't give a fuck what he does outside of work hours. As long as he does good work, I don't give a shit.
I'm saying like it's within your rights to then, to say, well, I don't want to continue to give this person money, even if they do a fine job. I don't want them to be a part of my company. I don't want them to be a part of what I'm doing.
I don't.
If you're able to do it as a small business, and it's like a person like it's your only employee, then you can still do it as a larger company.
You shouldn't be forced to employ people you don't want to employ.
Yes.
Right? So it's a two-sided coin. I'm not arguing that your employees should be allowed to do or say anything they want all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a balance, though, where, hey, we would be a very, very small business. They'd be basically like a partner, right? But I'm saying I just don't like the practice, especially of larger companies, but of companies that hire lots of people to have control or a say in what people are allowed to do outside of their slave hours, of their work hours. I don't like that an Amazon or whatever can have a morality clause.
I look at it this way. The consequences, just in a form of consequences, right? If you want to, go, carry a tiki torch and, walk around and protest that you're an idiot on your off days, that's fine and cool to do. Sure, go do it. That's your freedom of speech. Go do your thing. But what that means is the consequences of that action are people don't want to associate with you. People won't like you. They don't want to, be around you. They don't want anything to do with you.
Yes.
And that happens. So when that happens, that includes places of work. If you go to apply for a job and they're like, oh yeah, I saw this name on the news. You were one of the guys down there with the tiki torch. And you can say, oh, well then I don't want to hire that person. Or, hey, Brad, we saw you on the news last week and you were, doing your tiki torch thing. And like I said, to do it just based on like, hey, we saw you doing that. That's really stupid and it sucks. That's one thing. To go, hey, Brad, we saw you on the, carrying a tiki torch. You're fired. I feel like that is different, but I'm, at an at will, like work environment. That's not.
I'm not saying they shouldn't be allowed to do it either. Like, we're not making a legal argument. I just don't like how normalized it is for our places of work to have such a large say in what we do outside of work. So, like, maybe the line for a lot of companies is like, being an outright racist or like being a real piece of shit in XYZ ways outside of work is where we draw the line. So I can understand that. I'm not like...
The consequence of that being, you need to find work with people that are okay with that. You are limited. You are limiting your own options.
Yes,
by the wrong opinions that you have.
Okay, well, that's an easy example when it's like something so obviously bad, right? What about, let's say, Amazon, where you've been working 5 years now, sees somebody sends it to HR, you have a fucking Facebook status where you let's see.
And they said, why the fuck are you still
have
using
a picture
Facebook?
There's a picture of you with an AK and a gold grill, and you're talking about chopping up your enemies, right?
Are you speaking from personal experience now?
No. Not at all. And somebody sends it to Facebook and said, or to the HR at Amazon. They say, I found this image of my coworker threatening. He's basically a domestic terrorist, and I don't feel comfortable working in his vicinity. I don't think. I understand. Maybe there is, and in a lot of cases, complete legal freedom for a company to get rid of that employee. I get that, but
Right.
I'm saying I just don't
in that case,
them to have that say.
In that case, there's at least a credible argument that's like, oh yeah, well he's not actually threatening anybody who works here. He's not, there's not a credible threat to be organized in that. You can argue that there is.
You could, but
there
that's
isn't
a gray
tangible
area, though, because you could say the same thing about some guy that marched. Not that I agree, but you could say the same thing about a lot of other things. It's all gray area.
The argument that they are a threat in that case that they are not a threat in that case is a lot weaker because they have gone out and publicly announced.
No, come. That's a
different
so
case,
binary.
right?
What about a guy who is a hardcore Christian and all of his Facebook posts are like, hey, women are obviously worth less than the hard Christian male, but in the post is like, but they deserve equal opportunity and all this shit, where there's literally an explicit statement of like, I'm not a threat, but obviously I'm a piece of shit. Should Amazon be able to say, hey, you're obviously such a threat to other employees, you gotta go? Like, I understand.
I contextualize it. I contextualize all this through, if I were paying someone money to do a job and I found out that even in their off time, this is how they operate, I don't want them to be a part of my job, my business, what I'm building.
You can only have employees you agree with. I feel like
I would only have employees that I could at least understand. Maybe
you're talking about small business, though.
I'm saying if you're coming across, it should be the same either way.
So, no, I disagree. We can work with people that have
don't get me
viewpoints
wrong,
different than us, right?
I prefer a small business all day long, but I feel like that's, when you're.
What if they're the best employee
in
there?
Your words of, if it's true for one thing, you have to push it to the extreme, right?
No, that's the test to test it.
Okay,
to see if it's consistent.
Okay, yeah. So I feel like that's testable. I feel like that's
so
to show that.
Okay, then the next question would be, hey, you got rid of an employee at your small business because they're in the Tiki Torch videos, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is,
yeah.
What happens when your best employee, who's been there 10 years, is the one that makes the most money for the company, and you're flipping through the Tiki Torch video of the loser that just got fired for it last week, and you happen to see the number one employee in the very background of the same video.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't fire them, it would be completely hypocritical.
Right.
I'm saying I don't like that we give a company that we work for that much say of the rest of our life. Not that they aren't allowed, not that I can't understand it, or that in some cases it makes sense or whatever. I just don't think we should be forced to represent. Like, for a lot of jobs, it makes sense too, but I don't like that the culture of, like, wherever we are an ambassador of our job. I just don't like that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to say shit my job doesn't like, or else we'd all just be like fucking stuck being robots.
I mean, well, here's the thing. Will we be stuck being robots, or does
You know what I
not
mean.
saying the bad thing.
You know what I mean, though.
I do. And I
HR
don't.
wouldn't like our podcast. Most jobs, if they listened, if you were a chef at a lot of places and you had an uptight manager, I'm sure we've said things that could get you fired.
Yeah, probably.
And I would feel like that is unfair because you're doing something outside of work that I don't feel like they should have a say over. You're not representing your company in your free time.
I'm saying, but it also doesn't have to be about that. It doesn't have to be about you're representing your company. It can just be about, hey, we,
Fire people because we don't
we heard
like
you
them.
talking shit about Eric Kahn, but that's my best friend, and you can't say those things. So
I think there's
we're gonna
cases
have
where
to
that's
let you go.
illegal. You can't just, like, at a lot of places, you can't just fire people because you don't like them. Like, it depends.
Most states are an at-will state, so
I know.
even if you just give the
But it depends.
their
Not all,
values don't align with the company's values. That's all you need.
But even, like, for a Catholic school, my dad being a principal, at-will hiring,
Yeah.
even for that, you have to jump through a lot of hoops. Like, you could fire them at any time, but you're risking a lawsuit unless you have pretty good reason too. Like it is a lot more wishy-washy. And I don't think, like, there's a ton of people I hate that I don't want to be employing them and giving them money. But I also think to some degree, we should be able to work with people we disagree with too. Like, just because I don't want to be friends with them.
I can agree with that. It just, I feel like it also depends on the thing.
Yeah. It's just,
Yeah.
I think we're probably in, like, actual perfect alignment, but my entire point is I just want there to be more pushback against workplaces from, not that they shouldn't be able to get rid of, like, bad people or whatever, but that there should just culturally, I think we really leaned into anyone who says something shitty online, like European freedom of speech laws. Like, you say the racist thing, the sexist thing online, you are likely to have cops at your door or get a fine in the mail. Like, I don't want freedom of speech stuff to slide where companies can get rid of anyone anytime for, like, benign shit they say in their free time. Like, there is a balance, and I just think a lot of times it gets a little out of balance.
I think the difference with, I mean, my main argument on that is, like, the freedom of speech protects you,
from legal
publicly.
consequences, not from social consequences. Yeah.
Yeah, it protects you publicly. It doesn't protect you privately.
No, I get it.
So private companies don't have to adhere to.
Yeah, but my point is I'm just arguing for the cultural shift, not the not in legal or.
Yeah, I think there's so much gray area of the we can throw out a billion hypotheticals, but it's like,
I want it to be more normalized that we can disagree with people and still, like, accomplish things together.
yeah. I said that's fine. I agree with that. It's just also, I don't want to have to make my employees feel uncomfortable because they know Marty in accounting's
well, maybe they need to grow up a little bit.
Doesn't like them, doesn't respect them, wishes they would die. Yeah, I don't need that.
Hey, as long as Marty brings in the top numbers, his leads are so good.
Even if he does. Well, here, I did want to say this too. So I heard something from a colleague of mine that I thought at the time was, like, kind of cringy to say, but I understand it, of
Test me.
Not being as a business owner, you can't be held hostage by your employees. And what in their context, what they meant was there's nothing that they can do that they also can't do. So, like, if they had to let somebody go or something like that, then they can step in and fill that void without fail, or they can, delegate it out to fill that void without fail. And that's, I 100% agree with that sentiment. when you were talking earlier about like that's your top earner, that's like your most productive employee. It's like that's it. If it's enough to fire someone that I feel is enough to fire someone who, doesn't contribute as much, then it absolutely still applies to that person. I would still fire that other person, the top earner person. I would still do that. So that's all I'm saying is like, it doesn't matter how much they bring in or contribute. If it's worth it in my mind to my business or my company, then it doesn't matter what they do.
Okay. But you're basically saying, I mean, that whole point is you just would have moral consistency and be willing to make the sacrifice even if it sucked because you're going to stick to the guideline or whatever.
Of my own personal, which is what I think is right for me and my other employees. Yes.
I mean, that's good. I don't really see what it gets us because most places are like it is at will, right? These things aren't able to be equally applied. Mm-hmm. And as a general thing, I just don't want HR telling me what I can say and not say outside of work.
Just don't be, holding
tiki
torches,
no.
man. Just don't be out there holding tiki torches, man. You gotta worry about it.
That's bullshit. I hate when people say that. That's bullshit.
I mean, it's not too hard. I do it all the time. I don't carry tiki torches.
That's bullshit. Cause I could guarantee we have both said things that could lose our jobs.
Sure.
And somebody else could just go, well, just don't say it. Shouldn't have said it. And I feel like that's bullshit. We were in our free time. We're not currently representing our jobs. Why the fuck shouldn't we be able to say it?
How big of a story does it have to be? How many people have to recognize your face?
I say it doesn't matter how many. I want to be protected in my free time from losing my job.
If Jeff Bezos today got a job, got ousted from Amazon, and had to work at a McDonald's, and a video comes out of him, I'm trying to think of something that's not illegal. I was going to say
fucking a watermelon. He's fucking a watermelon.
Yeah, exactly.
Covered in baby oil. He's rubbing the melon. He's rubbing his head. He's dancing.
That's questionable, but I don't think that's a fireable offense. It's like it's devious or not devious, degenerate, but it's not.
But that would be fireable at a ton of places, and a ton of people would make the argument it should. You're showing deviant behavior. You're obviously breaking XYZ morality clause. Like, there's a ton of potential futures where or potential currents where you could get fired for that. If you're teaching at a school and the kids find your OnlyFans page or whatever, you're fired at a ton of places. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah, what the fuck were the kids' parents letting them do on OnlyFans?
I mean, the parents are looking it up too.
Yeah, exactly.
This is happening.
It was open on dad's browser.
I mean, I use that example because it's talked about all the time.
Yeah.
Of the very similar things happening. And I don't feel like someone should get fired for how they made money outside of work in a non-illegal way.
That's one of those, it depends on what it is we're talking about here. I feel like the OnlyFans thing is obviously she doesn't need to be fired for that. They don't need to be fired for that. That's crazy. But also, it's not a direct, it's not a threat to the people that they work with.
It is if you're teaching kids, and that's what the school thinks it is. I mean, if the parents you're obviously morally corrupting our children, their argument is that it is a threat to those kids. I disagree.
But if she's not, it's not a thing that is of a concern during work time, then it wouldn't be.
How is walking around with a fucking tiki torch outside of work? It's the same argument.
It's not about walking around with the tiki torch. It's about the reason that you're walking around.
The ideology. I get that, but you could make the same argument for the ideology of the teacher that believes that. You wouldn't be out there walking around
with the tiki torch if you weren't something that is probably.
But the teacher would obviously be subliminally harming and manipulating these kids into sexual depravity if they're the type of person who doesn't OnlyFans. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
There's grays. I'm on the side of fuck the company.
They need
as
to
soon
bring
as I
all
clock
the cases
out
to us and just
I'm
let
free.
us decide.
Absolutely. The Trash Cat's Court.
Yeah.
With Judge Steven and Judge Ricky, where we just fight and don't come to a conclusion.
There's no
And then we
conclusion.
imprison them.
We take 3 lunch breaks within a couple hour period.
Just eating pizza, first lunch break, pizza. What's the second one? Sushi?
Ice cream. And then
then-
sushi.
And then Indian food.
Yeah. For Indian food for dessert.
Bro, the amount of naan I have eaten this year.
It's only March.
Dude, I could like build a little house out of all the bread I've ate this year. I'd fill it with curry, take a little bath, and then quit my job before I get fired.
Quit my job.
Bro, I'm so close to quitting. I'm just anything I could do to rail against a job right now.
If you're
hate it.
once again, if you're willing to move on up here, man, this is a good time to quit. We're about to get busy.
I can't, bro.
I'm
I'm not saying I can't move, but I can't do your job.
Oh,
and
it's fun.
I could do it temporarily because I would enjoy.
I got some
working
Hawaiian
with you.
shirts you can borrow.
I would enjoy working with you. I could do it like on a limited amount, and I would actually like to do that, but I just couldn't deal with the public the people interaction. I just
there are days when it's pretty tough.
But you have that
The early mornings where it's like 7:30 in the morning. And
yeah,
so many people come in with the same cheery questions and shit, and you're like, I'm not fucking ready for it. I just can't.
To put it in perspective, I bet in the let's do the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I probably spent this is my guess because you have lived with someone as actively, and you tend to stick to yourself a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I bet I've spent more time directly talking to other people over the last 5 years than you.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
But I would hazard to guess.
You're not factoring in my workahol dependency.
Your what?
My workahol dependency?
Well, what I was going to say is I would imagine the number of people you've probably talked to literally like a 5,000% more people than me in the last 5 years. Where like
when I'm at home, I'm practically silent. I talk to my cats, and
that's why I think I probably have more like talked hours, but you're interfacing with so many more people that for me, I feel like it would just be impossible. Like I just don't want to or handle that well.
I can only do it and enjoy it because I've always been a back of the house person. I always, recognize that like servers are walking away with, what I make in a week every night kind of shit. Yeah. And that pissed me off. But also I never wanted to go to a table. The difference, at least in this job, is I feel the same sense of power that I have in a kitchen, of the same sense of control.
You've chosen your own destiny.
You are coming to me. You literally have to walk up to me and tell me what you want, and I have all of the information for all of the questions.
I am the gateway. I am the Batman. If you want this food, you have to.
Do you want this smoothie?
Answer me 3 riddles.
It really is a thing of like it's not that I don't like talking to people. It's that I typically would never put myself in a situation where I'm talking to a lot of people like I do. But because they're approaching me and I know what I know. I know that I am, the experience that I have and the knowledge that I have. It makes it more than bearable, I guess.
Yeah. Well, to close this out, do you want to end on a riddle?
Sure.
I just Googled.
It's good. Thank you.
Best riddle of 2024.
Oh, good.
Which I think is hilarious. And you know what website came up first?
riddles.com.
keeplaughingforever.com/funny-riddles.
/funny/riddles. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Or two subsets in.
Oh my God. All right, you ready for there's a couple of them, but you ready for the best riddle of 2024?
Yes. Is this what was the website called again? Sorry.
Keeplaughingforever.com.
Keeplaughingforever.com. So I assume this is a community, keeplaughingforever.com community voted.
Who knows? All I know is we got sidebars for pirate jokes, animal jokes, insult jokes, dad jokes, Kiwi jokes, golf jokes.
Kiwi jokes?
Yeah, don't know what that means. Vegan jokes, pickup lines, job jokes, coronavirus jokes.
Or a New Zealand thing.
Yeah, no dead baby jokes though. All right, you ready?
Oh, they're kind of swiped from the internet.
One of the top riddles of 2024, according to keeplaughingforever.com. Ready?
Yeah.
What kind of room has no doors or windows? Don't think too hard. It's not worth it.
I'm thinking because I know I've heard it before.
I don't think so. Because this shit's stupid.
What kind of room has no doors or windows?
Mm-hmm.
A bad room.
A mushroom. All right, one more. That's so bad, isn't it?
It's pretty fucking rough.
It's a waste of the HTML used to code.
There's code in there that's just taking up space.
What are two things you can never eat for breakfast?
Lunch and dinner.
Yeah, you got it. You win. You win the episode.
You asking a chef?
Yeah.
It's all
thought you could
all
get
that
that
training
one.
and experience. This is what I went to school for.
My whole life has led to this moment.
Thanks again for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you to Approaching Human for the use of his music. You can find his work on SoundCloud at Approaching-Human.
Thanks, John. He and my little sister are on their way to Mexico right now.
Fucking asshole.
They're gonna get kidnapped and killed, but
Have
maybe
a good
not.
time, y'all.
They could be safe. Yeah, they're about to fly down there tomorrow. So good luck, guys. Love you.
Make sure to check out the show page at Trashcats Trashcast on Instagram for news and art from the show. Check out Facebook for the memes.
For the memes, if you're super bored, you can check out my trashy art on Instagram at Skyzix, SKYZICX. It's dead as fuck. I've been working on the same piece of art every day, nearly every day.
I told you how to finish it, and you were like,
over a
no, I don't want to do it.
It gave me good jumping off points. I'm pretty much done with it now. I gotta send you an update. I think I figured it out, but I don't know. In a weird place with art, but we'll have something up there new.
Just saying. I want a writing credit on that one.
Sure. We have a YouTube that apparently doesn't not like to process the standard definition of our videos. Has no problem with the high def though.
So if your internet connection sucks, good fucking luck.
But yeah, help us make YouTube less embarrassing, and appreciate you guys sticking around. We recorded this episode. I think it worked out. I liked the Wondering episode, but we recorded this to give me extra time editing this weaponization of music episode that I'm really excited about. I think it'll be really cool. Excited for you guys to check it out, and hopefully we'll have that next. We'll see.
Yeah, this was supposed to be just a little short banger, but man, time really got away from us on this one.
It felt very. I like arguing with you. I like arguing with people I can trust. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And being able to get a little rowdy and voice dissent. And I feel like we still, even if we diverge, we typically have more overlap than not. It's fun arguing a viewpoint we probably mostly agree on, but have it's subtle differences, you know?
It's taking the amorphous gray blob in the middle and turning it into the yin-yang.
It's the purple zone. Never trust a black and white yin-yang. Only purple.
The purple's only.
What was it? What were they called? Nictitating
Oh, I thought you were going to play the Google thing.
I'm trying. I keep closing the tab. The
Nictitating Membrane.
There we go.
Thank you,
Have a
Linda.
great night, guys.
Bye.
Say the...
Oh, I got to say the thing. That's gonna be all for us today. Stay classy, eat trashy.
Nictitating Membrane.
Go fast, eat trash. Bro, I need to utilize this, this good...